How you doing? My name's Dave Scholler. I'm telling it like it is. Today I have three amazing guests with me. I have Coach Witherspoon, Coach Wells, both from Dr. Phillips High School, and John Magrino from Dr. Phillips High School. Obviously, championship level sports in the past year. I think you both won titles this year, right, Coach?
No, just basketball team. We won in
Ah,
2017.
2017. Well, I haven't won one in a lot longer than that, Coach, so that's okay. It's been a while. It's been a little while between drinks. And Coach Witherspoon, you won this year. I remember reading about that. John always sends me the clippings and stuff.
We did. It was a good year. First state championship in school history. So
Awesome. Great job. Great job. Those are tough to come by. Coaches, we want to talk today about the changing face of college athletics. It's just the Supreme Court ruling, which I'm pretty excited about. I'm just nervous about it because I'm afraid of. I don't know. I still think sometimes the kids will get exploited a little bit. I'm hoping they don't, but I feel like it sounds good on paper, but I'm just nervous about some of the guidelines that maybe won't be set. So in the last 2 weeks since the ruling by the Supreme Court, I was looking at University of Miami uh, promised to give a local gym about $500 to each University of Miami football player. Um, Michigan had the one I liked the most, which was selling jerseys with the players' names on the back, which I was pretty excited about. It. I'm hoping that that one would be the easiest to execute and take advantage of helping the kids out instead of maybe something that's a gray area. And of course, Texas A&M talking about $10,000 for two players to have exclusive interviews during the season. So, what do you guys think would be some of the pitfalls in any of those, or any of the positives or negatives in any of those situations? Anybody can jump in anytime.
I guess first the Miami deal with each kid getting $500 a month. I mean, that's great that they're involving the whole team. That's what you worry about with individual players, getting more recognition or more than other kids, and which is going to happen. But I mean, I think it's just great that it's going into effect and it can affect everybody on a team.
I agree. Coach
Did I
Wells, what do you
read that
think?
wrong? Did they say each starter or each scholarship player? Because they
Each of the
had some gray
90,
area.
yeah, each I read each of the 90 players would get 500.
Okay, at the beginning I saw each scholarship kid,
Ah,
which provides some gray area.
sure.
And then if you differentiate that with the starters and non-starters, it's going to be tough.
Right.
So is that you just say $500 for the season or per month?
I
Per
read
month is
five.
what I read in the article.
Yeah.
You said, I'm sorry, per month?
I saw it per month. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me too. That's what I saw.
Okay.
I saw per month.
All right. Well, it's not a lot of money. I mean, per kid. So, but at least everyone's getting something. That'll stave off a little bit of jealousy for the most part, right?
Right.
I'm
The other
happy.
thing I thought was interesting with that one was there was an article on ESPN about it, and the guy, the business owner, said he wants to help the kids, but he also wants a better product on the field. He did say that,
Oh my
which is
goodness.
just interesting to think about, like that he's hoping that his payment brings in better players, and that the Miami football team is better because of what he's doing. So it's another.
That's a dangerous statement to make,
Yeah.
because that's a compliance nightmare right there.
Yeah.
Because the whole idea behind it was to separate performance from reward. It was, you can make money on your name, your image, your likeness, but what you do on the field is supposed to be completely separate. And we all know the truth is a little different, right?
Oh yeah.
Because the top players are typically going to get some sort of compensation down the road, because it makes, from a business sense, it makes more sense from a popularity. I wonder if this Miami deal has any sort of, is this just a straight payment? Does it matter? Do you forfeit the ability to make that money? Maybe if you screw up in this way or that way, I'd like to see the details on that. Because if it does, I mean, if it's just straight up money, that's all right, whatever. But if it's tied to anything, like if you could actually lose it by falling out of favor or for example breaking rules, and then suddenly you voided your contract with that company, I think that then that turns into something little more interesting for me because I think it encourages actually a greater personal responsibility in terms of character, in terms of editing your behavior, as Coach Saban would like to say. And if that's the case, and that's a good thing, you know, protecting your brand, protecting the brand of the company that's sponsoring you, protecting the school in the same way. So to me, if it's a good thing, if it keeps character at the forefront, if character is tied into it and adherence to rules is tied into it, I don't see that as a bad thing.
Well, Coach Wells, I mean, how big is a college football team? 90 players?
Over 100. We had over 100 if you include, you know, the walk-ons.
Wow.
You know, usually there's about 85. I don't know how they're going to do the new rules now with the Corona guys getting the extension, but 85 scholarship kids, you know, plus about 15, 20 walk-on kids.
So now with the size of a team like that, how hard would it be to make sure that every kid is getting the amount of money that they've been promised to? Does that make it a nightmare with the size of that team? I know in basketball, sometimes you have 13, 15, 20 kids. Football is enormous. I mean, that's a large number of people you have to look out for. Does that make it like a difficult situation, the size of the team?
Yeah, that's going to make it hard because who's going to be the liaison between the kids, you know, and the companies? You know, obviously the coaches can't do it. Compliance, I'm sure they don't want it's going to be a necessary evil. They don't want to have to do it, you know. So who's going to be that person, you know, to make sure everything is straight and narrow and everybody's getting what it's supposed to get? And, you know, it's going to be a nightmare. Like you said, with 100 kids, 90 kids, it's going to be tough.
And it's not
like Magrino said.
And it's not, what'd you say, Coach Witherspoon?
I was just saying it doesn't go through the school. It's going to go from company to kid.
Right.
So the school is not going to be able to help with the logistical part, really. I mean, the kids
Right.
there's supposed to be a system in place for reporting,
Right.
you know, for each kid, but hopefully the structure of these companies are good.
Yeah, I agree with you. The funny thing is, like, once it starts to get to like the 500, 600, then, you know, like, say, I don't know, in basketball, the higher schools will offer 1,000 and then another school will take it to 1,500. It's going to become even a bidding war in a different sense, I guess, over the years as we go forward with this. It's I'm happy for the 500 one. I guess if they could find a way to help the kids out, I want to do it, but I'm just afraid of like the actual execution of it. I guess I'm a little skeptical because, like you said, if the university could stay out of it, which they're supposed to, it makes it.
Here's the thing, though, with all this is a business has to, you look at it from the business perspective, they have to benefit some way off of this. If they're not going to benefit, you know, I know that we're all projecting like what could happen in this and what we're afraid of, but at the end of the day, you really don't have any idea what the end result is going to be. But I will tell you this: if a company is not making money, this is not going to be as terrifying as I think a lot of people want it to be, or either want it to be or expect it to be, right?
Sure.
Because I know there's a lot of purists that don't want any compensation, and you know, I ask you simply, why not?
Yeah.
But the other thing is, if a company is not going to benefit, why would they continue to do it? So you have to wait and see what's going to happen down the road.
Right. I mean, I just, it's going to be really interesting just to watch. And like I say all the time, I've been thinking about it for many weeks, and I always feel like it's going to take a good 5 to 10 years before we see the real effects of it, you know. But I agree with you 100% if the business isn't making money. But I would have to think, like, if the University of Florida, your alma mater there, Johnny, if the University of Florida has attached a business to its name, I think that's got to help the business down there, wouldn't it?
Well, they can't attach their business to anything. I mean,
Right.
You're talking about the business attaching it to the players.
Yeah.
Right. The school, you know, let's
Right.
remember the school can't be involved.
Right. But I would think that would help, wouldn't it? I mean,
again, from a PR standpoint, sure, but you know, does it translate into dollars?
yeah.
You know, if it brings people into the rest. I'm sorry, go ahead, Rod. You were gonna say.
No, here's the problem. The school is not supposed to be involved.
Right.
Mhm.
But I deal with college recruiters, and Coach deals with college recruiters all the time. You're going to sell every positive about your school.
Right.
You know, so I might not say it per se, but whoever hosts the kid, I'm going to make sure that kid knows this is what you get if you come to Florida. This is what you get if you come to the University of Miami. So it's definitely going to be a recruiting tool for, I mean, if I'm 18 years old and I know automatically as soon as I get there, I can get a $500 check, that's going to play into, my decision. So these college coaches, they need their job and they're trying to get the best recruits. So they're going to be involved. For us to think they're not going to be involved is crazy.
Right.
Yeah, well, at least they'll know who to talk. They might not be able to help you personally with that, but they'll know who can help you.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
I mean,
Now the one with Michigan, I don't know, maybe I'm being naive. I feel comfortable with this one with selling a kid's jersey with his name on it and letting them profit from it. I feel comfortable with that for some reason. Maybe I'm way off, but that one seems the best to me, like to have a kid maybe be able to benefit off the sales of their name on the back of a Michigan jersey. I feel like there's probably some negatives there too, obviously, but I feel like that's a positive one. I mean, I don't know, I could be 1,000% wrong here, but I just feel like that one to me might be the easiest one for me to wrap my head around. But anybody see any positive negatives of that situation?
I love that
So-
one because the best players are going to be rewarded for that. I mean,
Sure.
you're not running around with 4-string punters name on the back of your shirt.
his parents will buy his jersey though.
Right. You know what I mean? Like the most talented players would be the ones getting rewarded from that. And, and just from a coaching standpoint and appreciating guys that love the game and want to be the best at their craft, as opposed to the kids that are going to just be, more so brand ambassadors and focus on other things outside of their sport. I appreciate the kids that are going to be rewarded for being one of the best players.
Definitely.
Problem is going to come, where are you going to sell this jersey? Walmart, outside the stadium? Because they're not going to let you sell it on the campus without them getting their cut.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, they're not going to have it in the bookstore down there in Michigan with somebody's last name on it. So, unless they're getting, their fair share. So where are they going to sell the jersey?
Right. That's a great point. I didn't even think about that, Coach.
Yeah.
That is a great point. And if it is on campus, like you said, the school's going to take their cut.
Yep. Because the kids are already starting their clothing lines. There's been multiple kids, college athletes already, put up their website with their brand on it, their name, their number. Obviously they can't use school logo or anything on there, but the kids are already, starting their clothing line brands and selling those. But obviously the big money maker is selling the official jersey with your name on it.
It'll be interesting to follow the kids that are making the most and how much comes in, just out of curiosity from someone like myself, like just to follow like how much money they make, like how much money could a kid make, like the kids who already started. Like it'll be interesting to hear those numbers as they come in. It's gonna be eye-opening, and it's gonna be just an amazing thing to watch.
Yeah, I don't know if the large amount of money is going to come in by selling their name on their jersey. I think it's going to come from outside. But I think that who's going to make the most money on this is not the athletes. I think that the people that are going to be working for them, trying to secure deals for them on the outside, they're going to make the consistent amount of money over the long haul. An athlete only has really, unless you're going pro, you got about 2 or 3 years to make some sort of change, some sort of money. And so the long-term benefits are not going to be the athletes, which is what we're actually trying to help, right? I mean, the whole idea is to give athletes more money, which they are, but they're not the ones that are going to be making the most, in my opinion. I think it's going to be, they're going to make a percentage of it. But once again, greed got us to this point. Can everybody agree on that? I mean, like all of and I'm not talking about athletes. I'm talking about, the universities making money, the TV networks, everybody making money except the guys that are actually producing the product, right? Yeah. So everybody got a piece of it, and now athletes have an opportunity to make it, and they're still not going to be making as much as they probably should have in the past. I don't know if anybody agrees with me on that.
More than zero, though.
Well, again, I 100%. Yeah,
not nothing anymore.
Yeah, and I'm in favor of that. I'm actually get what you can get, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah.
But again, just like Coach Witherspoon said, you're only talking about 10%, maybe 20% of the guys on the team. I was a Syracuse backup linebacker. I played with Donovan McNabb. So everybody's trying to get to McNabb or to Bucky Jones. You know, there's a few guys, but again, nobody's buying, 42, but my family. So I don't see I don't see a lot of guys making a lot of money off this thing.
Now that brings me to my next point. What about those non-revenue sports? You think they'll be able to profit at all off of those athletes, or no? Meaning obviously football and basketball being the big revenue sports, but I don't know. How about a non-revenue sport? What do you coaches think about that? And John, what do you think?
Swimmers can make money, certainly if they get sponsored by, Tier or Speedo or any of the other brands. But again, as coaches both said, I mean, you're looking at Katie Ledecky. They're the ones that are going to get the. Of course, she's out of school already, but you have to be that type of swimmer in order to make that money. To be fair, non-revenue sports, there's not a lot of interest from networks and things like that. So from an exposure standpoint, you're going to have the businesses that are actually involved in that, because not too many people are unfortunate. And I'm sure she's a great person, but like, how many car dealerships are going to want, the top swimmer in a program to come in, and that's not going to bring people in like it would if you had Tim Tebow there or Russell Wilson.
Fair enough.
All come down to their social media following. Not non-revenue sports. If they have a following on social media for something else they do, or I don't know, they do trick shots or whatever it might be on their Instagram and on their Twitter, and they have a massive social media following, then yes, they'll come for them. But if they don't, they probably won't.
Wow. Coach Wells, what do you think about the non-revenue sports?
What these guys said, it's who's looking at you, and how can you get a body in my business? That's what it's all about. So if I don't think there's any interest, and you don't have the social media following, and you're not a hot, girl, that's what it's going to come down to.
Right.
Or you don't do anything interesting on YouTube or whatever it is.
Right.
They're not going to. But it's not just non-revenue. It's, basketball and football too.
Yep.
Well, coaches, we already mentioned this a little bit, but what do you think it does to the team concept? Does it make it harder to sell the team concept, you think, or does it not affect it at all to have some of the guys making a good amount of money off their name where some aren't? What do you think about that?
Doesn't make it easier.
I agree with that, Coach.
It doesn't, but I mean, it's an element that brings you closer to what a pro locker room is like.
Sure.
Where everyone's making money, and it's all, different tiers, and guys are making high salaries, and some more than the coach, and some are league minimum guys. So yes. Keep the focus on winning, on what you normally do. I don't think it changes too much. It's just your relationships will change in the locker room is what you worry about. So more of an emphasis most likely on chemistry, and those things will be important. But it's kid to kid and looking around, and that guy just got $500 from these two companies, and I have nothing, and no one's coming from me, and I'm jealous, and those things will happen to me. But those are always factors in the locker room anyway.
Yeah,
kids are jealous about playing time, or how coach talks to him, and coach likes him more than me, and that kind of thing. So it's just another factor to be added in.
Yeah, they're always jealous about shots and stuff, so this will be no different.
Yep.
Coach, how about on the football field? What do you think as far as the chemistry? Is it going to be harder or easier or not affected? Or
I don't think it'll be affected as much, especially if you have a strong team chemistry and strong culture and high standard. It's just like anything else. There's always a new norm. There's always something new, something different out there. And nothing becomes a problem until it becomes a problem in the locker room. So if it becomes a distraction, if you see a really good player who's usually really good, distracted about companies or trying to make some money, now that goes to the head coach and how he's going to handle each individual situation. But I don't see it. I don't see it being a problem because it's always been that way.
Yeah, the one weird angle I was thinking of, I told this one a couple of weeks ago, and I was just again thinking of take a really small college sport, like I don't know, let's just say maybe I don't know. I live right near Stony Brook University, so let's just say the ladies tennis team at Stony Brook, you know, has a parent there who owns a business and has some wealth in the family there. I think they could really get involved in the recruiting at a smaller level by trying to seek out the best tennis players, even if that family has personal wealth where they have enough where, again, tennis kids probably might not get as much as, say, a football or basketball player, obviously, but I feel to get anything at all could definitely influence some of the lower sports as far as revenue goes. I think individual influence could be had if you have like some sports where there is a wealthy family involved in a program, or they could maybe give the best players in the country in tennis to come here for $1,000 or $5,000. And to me, it seems like that's a lower level problem. I think that people will ignore, but I think it'll still be there. But I'm happy. I said I'd be happy for the kids, but I think you could influence it at a much lower level there. I think somebody or an individual could definitely do that. I mean, I know that won't affect football and basketball, but it's just something I see, whether it be tennis or even a lower level squash or something. Like Stony Brook has a good squash team. It's just it's just something like that. I mean, I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but if I get
Coach, I don't even know what squash is.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. Butternut squash. I have no idea what even squash is right here in Florida.
Yeah. So, well, I'll tell you, it's the ball where after you hit it for a while, the ball heats up and then it bounces better. That's how weird the sport is. So,
yeah, like NBA Jam.
Here's the problem. big sport or little sport, it's big bank take little bank. It's just going to separate the divide, even more. Because if there is a Stony Brook that's saying, hey, we can offer this, all right, so I'm going to see that, and I'm at Syracuse, I got more big bank or more relationships. Hey, Stony Brook down there, they offering this. We need to find a guy that offers more, So it's going to be big bank, take a little bank.
Sure.
All across the country.
Yeah, and I use that.
So all this really is worldwide West just becoming commonplace now. It's not just exclusive to Kentucky.
Yeah, well, it's just funny, but I use that example because around here, like, how many Division I schools are in Florida as far as college goes? Any idea? Like 10, 15, 8?
That's a great question.
Because like
it depends on the sport, though.
Yeah, because here on Long Island we only have Stony Brook and Hofstra. That's why I use those as an example. But you guys have some major.
There's at least a dozen, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you have Miami, Florida State, Florida. I mean, you have so many.
FIU, FAU, USF, UCF.
Yeah, I mean, UCF had a great year. I mean, it's just incredible how many
Yeah.
It's really different. I mean, we do have, again, we have Binghamton and Albany upstate also, but it's just different. In Syracuse, of course, being the biggest one in the state, coach played there. But on Long Island here, you just don't even have those same amount of, that's not the same amount of access. But I don't know. I just think it's going to have so many effects. Like Coach said, big bank, small bank. I think it's definitely going to do it. But now, coaches, here's the $100,000 question. Does this trickle down to the high school level? I hope not from a personal standpoint, but how do you gentlemen feel?
With basketball at your highest level, elite talent across the country, I mean, your top 50 players in the country, there's already an opportunity for those high school kids. I mean, with overtime, elite starting and they're signing kids that are in high school to, multiple year deals to come and play and basically be pros right now. I could see at the elite level of it trickling down to them. Obviously, I don't see it. Your average high school player, generating any revenue from it, but I could see the McDonald's All-Americans and your top 50 kid, kind of being able to take advantage of that because they do have large social media followings. Basketball is something that's covered on social media heavily with highlight companies and all these mixtapes and everything. So I could see it coming for high school at that level.
Think about a kid like Zion, obviously. I mean, think about it, imagine the following that he has. I mean, can you imagine him in high school? He definitely could have benefited from this. I mean, without a doubt. That would have been something that would have been very profitable, I think, for that level of player at that level of following. He was a legend before he stepped on the court. It was amazing. So it's just
I know the
amazing.
Florida High School Athletic Association has already come out and said that they are not allowing any type of compensation for NIL. But that's just one state out of 50.
Yeah. And what does that mean? They're not allowing any compensation. Does that mean like,
Meaning that you would be ineligible to participate if word got back that you were compensated for anything.
yeah, okay, so a sneaker store up the road can't compensate a high school athlete.
Mhm.
Okay. That's it. Well, I remember what, I'm reading that, and then something happened. I think Alabama, you said, I don't think some of the schools, as coach mentioned, are not going to allow you to use their brand or image, but that's going to be a fight within itself, I think, too. It's going to be interesting, and some people are going to can use that as a recruiting tool also. If, this school won't let you use your name, use your likeness, and this school will. I mean, that's definitely going to become something sticky, but
John, question on that. Has it always been like that with the FHSA? Or did they
Always.
just come out and say that now?
No, they
Yeah.
just released that. I believe it was last week I heard it. Yeah,
I just wonder if
but that's
always
actually in
been
the bylaws about compensation. It's
So
been
it's
in the books.
been in their bylaws,
Yeah,
for a while. Okay.
yeah.
so Coach Wells, is it gonna trickle down to high school football? What do you think?
No, not at all. You'll have guys, local guys, like you always do, doing favors, buying lunches, giving kids rides here and there,
Sure.
taking care of 7-on-7 gear, just small things like that.
Right.
But as far as, contracts and real compensation, no, football, just numbers wise, football is too difficult. And, usually, like Coach said, the basketball stars are always usually bigger than the
Right.
football stars. And it's easy, to take care of 10, 15 kids
Yeah.
opposed to 100.
Now,
Let me throw this scenario out. And Ben, this is more directed to you because of basketball and the shoe companies and stuff. Let's say, Dave, you had brought up Zion. What if Zion, decides that once he graduates high school, before he even commits to a college, he gets sponsored by Adidas. But then he goes to Duke, which is a Nike school. What happens then?
that's a good question. I was thinking about that one the other day. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't see a sneaker company doing that just for that reason.
Maybe
Really?
you're right.
Because then you get into, if you sign a kid before he commits to college, now everyone knows that you're making sure he goes to that brand of school.
Right.
I
I
see.
mean, besides Adidas, you got to go to Adidas school.
Okay, so now, all right, so let's just say then he's at Duke. Let's further the example. He goes to Duke, and Duke is a Nike school. Can he sign with Adidas? Because maybe Adidas wants that contract. I'm just throwing it out there. You don't see that as a potential issue?
No, well, because if you're an athlete at Duke, you have to wear Duke's, whatever company that they're signed with.
And truthfully, Nike could be giving them some money too then at that point, individually. Money's money. It doesn't matter what the brand is, right?
Yep.
I have a fear that maybe the parents will be worse about this than the kids, though. That's my other fear. I think it's to me up here. I know it's the kids are usually easy to deal with. I just think some of
We have great parents here, though. We never have issues.
some I don't expect you guys to comment on this, but I just think some of the moms and dads might be even more interested in this than the kids. I just feel like I guess it's just a personal nightmare. Like I had one night where a kid walks in late to practice. And I'm like, John, you were late. And he's like, well, I was selling t-shirts in the quad, coach, working on my personal brand. It's like just a personal nightmare. Like, wait a second. You realize that, you still have to be here on time. We still got to work hard, just a sketchy example, but still, I just like, it's just.
I think coaches always have the control. I think it doesn't, I don't even think it matters at this point. You still control playing time. You still control everything.
Yeah. Well, some
There's parents are already kind of doing this. I mean, because with basketball, there's just this perception of you have to have a certain amount of hype following you for college coaches to find out about you and
Yeah.
to be a pro and all these things. So like, there's kids class of 2028 with Instagram pages run by their parents and they're paying people to come and film their kids play, and they're building their social media following and everything. It's happening right now. It's just a matter of, them shifting over to being compensated for it instead of them thinking about, getting a college scholarship out of it.
Right. Yeah.
know?
So parents
So-
are doing that with sixth graders already. Coach is right about that. When you go to all those exposure camps, you can see all the film going already, like at the junior, like the future stars camps, and you have fifth and sixth graders there, and the films are being cut. I remember seeing it. And 2028 would be a sixth grader, I guess, right now. So I mean, yeah. So you got people doing this already. He's right. So I mean, you see it at the camp clips.
I know why Rod's laughing.
Exactly. Oh,
But I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting. I mean, just to watch, but I don't think you can really understand the full effects of this until we're into this a couple of years. It's going to be crazy. But I mean,
I actually think it's exciting.
it is.
I really do. I'm excited about it. I want to see what comes down the road, and there'll be some bumps in the road, and maybe they'll have to make some changes here or there. But that's a fat genie. That's out of the bottle. Ain't getting that genie back in now.
Yeah, and
So this is the way it's going to be.
but coaches, you think it'll ever get to the point for college coaches that any of these businesses could pressure the college coach, or you don't see that happening? If the kid,
I don't see that.
go ahead, Coach.
No, I don't see a company being able to put pressure on a college coach.
Good.
Um,
That's a fear of mine, I guess.
yeah, I mean, if they're the kid that they decided to sign to their company is brand ambassador is not getting the time they wanted, that's on them for choosing the wrong kid. And then
Maybe it motivates the kid to play better.
maybe it does. I just think about Nick Saban's in my head of a company coming to Nick Saban talking about playing time.
Yeah.
I would love to be in that room if they did do that. To hear what Nick Saban would say about that, but yeah, I just don't see it being a problem.
I see it being a problem the other way around, like we talked about with coaches, knowing the boosters and the businessmen around the area, coaches influencing the business instead of the business influencing,
Good point.
the coaches. Because again, when I go to this high school, I need to say, hey, we got Toyota right here. You can do this commercial, you can get 10 grand, for a semester or whatever. That's a selling point. That's a recruiting tool that I can use. So I don't think, like Coach said, nobody can tell the big time coaches, anything about playing time or anything like that. But I think they can influence, business.
Yeah, because like let's just say Toyota, for example, say Toyota makes a lot, maybe the arena has tremendous Toyota sponsorship, and then Toyota gives a local kid an opportunity, and then he's not playing. It just feels like there's some gray area here where it's going to have to be discussed and worked through, because
But the problem is you're going to have to be established. You got to be a baller. You got to be a Zion. You got to be a Trevor Lawrence. Nobody's going to just give out, hundreds of $1,000s to somebody who they think might be a good player. You don't have to earn these deals.
And I think they're going to be more so concerned with you doing something to lose all your Instagram followers, as opposed to you doing something to lose all your playing time, because you could not play and still be a major influencer because you have, 200,000 followers or something. Like that's what I think they'll be even more concerned with.
really,
And I think that's not a bad thing either. To again, if it is an early lesson about editing your behavior and making sure that you're protecting your brand and yourself and your character, I think that's a good thing. It's if your character is going to cost you money, you're going to edit your character. So if you have an opportunity to capitalize on things, you're less inclined to do things to damage that income. And if that's one of the things that again, it's good business sense, keeping yourself at a more professional level.
yeah, I mean, and the last thing I wanted to bring up, I mean, I know I'm being really naive here, but I just fear for the education getting totally lost in this rest of the process. I mean, I know it's been challenged anyway, but I feel like this is going to be even more of a distraction. I mean, I just feel like I've got to find a way to help these kids get a degree. I just feel it just as a high school teacher, I still feel loyal to that education first, and it's and I know at the, the followers for the Instagram followers and making the money is definitely going to be more, more valuable to a lot of kids. But I just feel like, oof, I just fear for the kid who only goes to the big school for 2 years and doesn't finish their degree. Those are the guys I really get nervous for here. That top recruit, maybe where it doesn't work out. That's the kid I get nervous for. We've all seen millions of those around, around different colleges over the years. Coaches, any
Probably
thoughts?
wasn't going to work out for that kid anyway, though.
Right.
To be honest with you, I mean,
Right.
if they weren't going to prioritize
Right.
their sport and education and getting their grades that they need to get, I mean,
Yeah.
Would this really change it for that kid? I don't know. I don't think
Right.
so.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah, you're probably right about that, Coach. Coach Wells.
Yeah, the two different animals. Again, football and basketball are really different. Yeah, I don't know about basketball, but football, these guys are going in December, going in their senior year in December, going in early, graduating in 3.5
Good.
years. They can't even go to the NFL to 3 years. So I don't think it'll be a problem, football wise, because at most of the schools, if you do what you're supposed to do and you're there 4 years, you're going to get some type of degree. It's the guys that leave early or try to go to this transfer portal, things like that, try to transfer and then drop out or something like that, who won't take education seriously. But if you're at a school football wise, with all the structure, all the assistants they have, you're going to graduate.
Good. Yeah, that's, I guess, like I said, it's just the part, the piece that I still want to make sure that the kids are getting so they can obviously have more opportunities in their future. It's but like Coach said, they do have to prioritize, and that's obviously a very important thing. But all right, gentlemen, I wanted to get Coach Wells out of here because I promised I'd have him out by 10 o'clock. It's 9:52. So I delivered on that. I can't thank you guys enough. I mean, I definitely can't wait to follow you guys. Now, when's football officially start? First game, Coach?
First practice August 2nd,
Right.
and then first game is August 20th.
Okay, awesome.
That's a kickoff classic, and then official game is August 20th.
Okay.
27th, the
I'll be
next Friday.
following you guys. And Coach Witherspoon, when's your season start?
We start playing late November around Thanksgiving week. So
Great. So I'll be looking forward to it, and I really appreciate all you guys coming on. And such a great topic. If there's anything if anything you guys ever want to come on and talk about, it's always the guests that make the show the best. That's what makes you guys so great for coming on here and doing this for us. And it's such a big topic. So I thank you for your thoughts and your experiences. Gentlemen, thanks for coming on.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it.